Warning: this podcast discusses paranormal activity and other topics some might find disturbing. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, everybody. This is your host, Ashley, and welcome to Ghost Gossip. Today I am just me, myself, and I, so I hope you are coming for me and staying for me because I have no guest and I have no Daniel. It is just me, by myself, in my little makeshift studio with my dogs, my REM pod, and my Spirit Talker app. Today we're using the Necrometer just to see if anything comes across and maybe somebody's hanging out here with me while we talk about what we're going to talk about today. So here we are. We are going for round number 2. I really would like to record this episode for next week because I am actually leaving for a cruise for spring break with my little one, and it's just me and her. I became a single mom when she was 3 years old, and something we always did together, even when she was a terrible 2s, terrible 3s, terrible 4s, and then she became easier to travel with once she hit 5, 6, 7. We always traveled, the two of us. We enjoyed traveling together, and I make sure that it's still something her and I do. Even though I'm married and I have my family of 5 now, it's still something that I feel like it's important that her and I still do together. So last year we went on a cruise for New Year's. And this year we are going on a spring break cruise with our best friends, and we're going to miss Daniel and the kids, but we're very excited to travel together again. My husband is taking me on a romantic getaway, just the two of us this weekend, to a place in Georgia. There is a winery, but there's also some haunted locations. I'm super excited about that. Cannot wait. I am by myself today. I am so sorry. We have no special guests. It's just me. It's me. Hi. I know I'm the problem. It's me. So we are doing this for the second time. But on today's episode, we are going to talk about some paranormal investigative tools. 1 that I use and 2 that I want to use. We're talking about the Estes method and just basic phone apps that you can download, that anybody can download and use them on their phone. We are going to start with the Estes method. That is probably one of my most fascinating, like to me personally, fascinating methods of ghost hunting and communicating with the paranormal. This is not something that I have ever attempted in my life, but I want to try it. I have a spirit box, but I'm not sure if it's because I'm old or I have a ringing in my ears every once in a while and a pulsing in my ears, or if maybe my ears are just a little bit more sensitive than others. I have a really hard time hearing anything through the static. Now, I did talk to Taylor, who is Paranormal Teach, and she told me you need a really good spirit box, that it really matters how much you spend on these boxes because you get what you pay for when it comes to paranormal equipment. So eventually, I want to invest in a better spirit box. But before we get into this, I just want to say, since I'm by myself, I can be a little bit more ushy and gushy. I don't have Daniel here, kind of in my emotions today. I want to say thank you. I started this podcast before I left my job, and it was really hard to commit to it. I was driving from Anderson and back for court. We had a lot going on in our personal lives, and I had all the responsibilities had fallen on me. And not because Daniel wanted them to, but just because of some circumstances that we were going through. Maybe one day we'll tell you what we went through, but right now we just can't. 2024 was the hardest year of our lives. And when I left my job to better focus on my family, I did that with this in mind, knowing that I would have this. And when I sit here sometimes and I'm still in my pajamas and my hair's a mess and I don't have any makeup on and I feel like I have no purpose, I remember that I have this. So I want to thank you for being there. I have watched this grow from 6 listens per episode to 30 to 100 to now thousands per episode. And I'm blown away. And I want to make this my job. I want to tell your stories. I want to tell you about historical paranormal locations. I want to go ghost hunting with you and meet you and go to these paracons that I've never heard about. I want to do all that. And this is what I'm choosing my purpose to be. And I want to thank you for being there. Even though I can't see you, I do see you when you listen. And I thank you because you have given me purpose again. And I love you. Don't let anybody tell you different. I love you. I might not know what you look like, but just know if you are a listener of this podcast, you give me purpose. Okay, now that that's out of the way, feelings. We're going to turn on the spirit box. We're using the necrometer today. I'm going to turn on my REM pod. You're going to hear it beep. Here it goes. We're going to set it right there. And as always, we're going to see what they say as we record. Might be a little bit more chatty. When I recorded this morning, the necrometer, one of the first things it said was no vision. So it was like a perfect little podcast buddy this morning, because no vision, of course, if you know anything about the Estes method, you have to deprive some senses. But let's learn what the Estes method is. The Estes method is a ghost hunting technique used to communicate with spirits in a haunted location. You do so by sensory deprivation. And usually what this means is you are blindfolded and you cannot see. You're usually seated in an upright position, maybe in a rocking chair. I think it is recommended in a rocking position so you can rock back and forth, and that rocking will naturally help you ease into a meditative state. And you have soundproof, noise-canceling headphones on. You are plugged into a spirit box and you listen. That spirit box will then run through sound frequencies to produce white noise. The best way I can describe this is if you were to go through an AM station and you start listening to the AM stations and you can hear those words kind of coming through, but it's not really clear. What spirit boxes will do is actually run very quickly, scan through these stations, and it produces like a static. And you communicate, or I say you have one person or like a team of people asking questions, and then you have your person who, as they say, goes under. That person who is under will then listen for words. They cannot hear the people's questions, and they're blindfolded, so they cannot see the people's lips. And in this will usually come a conversation. And people believe, the creators of this method, who are Carl Pfeiffer and Connor Randall, when they introduced this method, they believe that this is one of the best ways to communicate with... Moving closer. Oh, okay. Well, if you're moving closer, can you touch my REM pod? You see this little light here? You can touch it. It's real easy. If you just want to touch it, that's me, everybody. It's right here. I can move it away if you are prefer that I don't have this as close to me, but you are okay to move closer. Thank you for being here. Thank you for speaking to me. I know that these apps are not always reliable, but I do like them. They are for entertainment purposes only. You need to remember that, but I have had some excellent, amazingly excellent evidence come through them before. And it's just, I don't believe in like coincidences, like everything's a coincidence. I'm not one of those people. So sometimes it's just too spot on to think that it is just an app. But anyway, getting back to it, Carl Pfeiffer and Connor Randall, they actually, I just heard something, sorry. They actually came up with this method, and they named it after Estes Park in Colorado, which, if you remember, if you're a longtime listener, that is where the Stanley Hotel is located. The Stanley Hotel is one of the most haunted hotels in America, and that is where The Shining was inspired and filmed. Isn't that crazy? It all ties together. This is believed, the Estes method is believed to establish a two-way communication with spirits. They believe that this box generates enough radio frequencies that the spirits can manipulate in order to communicate. It is completely immersive. The person, if it's done correctly, that person goes into this like meditative state that they almost, the people that I've seen do it, they almost forget they're doing it. They forget all the people around. They forget that they're, I guess, themselves is the best way to put it, and they truly just start communicating. Some of the best ones I've seen are done by Sam and Colby, Colin Brown with the Paranormal Files, and then Twin Paranormal. Now, they don't like doing it because of personal reasons. They feel like maybe like it takes too much energy. They next time. It said next time. That kind of spooked me. I just jumped a little. But I don't know why they don't like doing it. But I know like Sam and Colby and Colin Brown, they do it like all the time. That is one of their staples. Twin Paranormal, they do it kind of, here and there. But there is no shortage of examples if you want to look into that. Go to Google or YouTube and Google, look up Estes method, and you will see so many examples. A really good example of this was actually Jessica, who was my guest last week. She's a psychic medium. She did one at the Cabin 360. And oh my gosh, that gave me chills. It was a dual Estes method. She talked about it on the episode. And they were in 2 separate rooms, both psychic mediums, and they were separated in 2 separate rooms, and their investigated partners were there. And they were asking questions, and Sarah and Jessica were answering, like they were having a conversation with each other in 2 separate rooms. It's amazing, guys. Beyond the Badge Paranormal, please go watch that. It's 45 minutes long, and I couldn't look away. Like, I've been wanting to do an episode about the Estes method forever, but I've been so focused on doing the history of locations and trying to find guests and stuff, I just kind of forgot about it. And then I watched it, and I was like, oh, I love the Estes method. I want to do it. I wonder if I can convince Daniel to do it with me. I need a really good set of noise-canceling headphones, though. Another thing that I want to do is I want to start recording these. So I'm going to get a good camera, like a webcam or something, so I can start uploading just the visuals. Because guys, sometimes, especially when Daniel's here, it's so funny, but I think maybe the humor might be lost because you can't see what he's doing in his face. And I'm very expressive as well. So that is something that we're thinking about. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked by myself, talking to myself, getting sidetracked by myself. What you think about that, Ghosty? It's very quiet. This morning it was way chattier. Like every time I started talking, it was like cutting me off. Okay, so getting back to the Estes method, you can see it in a lot of paranormal shows. Okay, reflective of what? Can we just have a whole episode where I'm just talking to my phone? Like not on the phone because I don't like making phone calls, but just with an app. I was arguing with it earlier. I'll put it at the end where it was arguing with me and it flirted with me. Anyway, sorry. Again, getting off track. Are you still here? Please be here. Hi. The Estes method was made popular by ghost hunting shows such as Kindred Spirits, where investigators Amy Brunny and Adam Berry employ this method to communicate with entities on the other side. So I'm getting this information from ghostshop.com, and I'm going to link this website in the show notes so that way you can check it out as well. And it looks like Lucky Charm. It looks like a website to purchase ghost hunting equipment. That's what it looks like. It looks like they have one for sale, maybe. It looks like it is actually a website where you can buy paranormal equipment, which is really cool. They have like a Boo Buddy, which is a teddy bear that if something touches its paw, it says, "Oh, I like you when you hold my hand." Or if it hears something, it'll say, "Can you say that again?" It is the creepiest thing I have ever seen. Like, I don't want a Boo Buddy, but it seems pretty cool. If you have a Boo Buddy, please let me know because that's interesting and a little freaky all at the same time. Okay, so back to the Estes method. This investigated method became a staple in paranormal investigations because of how clear some of the conversations were. If you go and you look at some of these on YouTube, if they are done correctly, some of them are chilling, like really chilling, especially how the conversation progresses and it flows. Like, and I believe Jessica. Like, I truly believe Jessica. If you watch that video on Beyond the Badge Paranormal, it gets really dark, really fast, but it is so clear. It had names, it had last names, it had... Decisively. Yes, it was very decisively. One thing that Taylor did tell me, and I think I said this earlier, you really need good equipment. You need good quality headphones. You need a good quality spirit box. You don't need to get the cheap one off Amazon like I did. You really need to invest in a good quality equipment. So I'm going to actually ask her which one she uses, and I will share that information in the show notes. I think the reason that I don't invest in a more expensive box is because I don't investigate. I would like to investigate more, but I'm not an investigator. I am just a paranormal enthusiast who likes to talk about it. I did have a friend come to me and ask me about ghost hunting in her sister's house, which I really want to do. I think the old owner is still there. Her name is Margaret, which if we did, I would love to try to do the Estes method there. But I'm pretty sure doing and perfecting the Estes method takes a lot of work, and I need practice. I definitely need practice, and I need somebody to practice with. And since I don't have that, because I'm not sure if that's something my husband would be comfortable with, I really don't know. So how this works is the Estes method will use the spirit box, and the spirit box will scan through radio frequencies at a rapid pace, like very quickly. Some of the boxes you can control how fast or slow. You can increase the rate of speed or you can decrease it. To me, the faster it is, the harder to hear, but I'm pretty sure to somebody who is a little bit more seasoned, they might prefer it quickly. I have heard from paranormal investigators that the spirit box and Estes method are probably some of the most effective paranormal investigation tool. Now, I think that's really just up to the investigator, but if it does work like they say it does, I would agree with them, honestly, because it seems if you watch certain videos, and especially of the creators on YouTube that don't over dramatize their evidence and they don't add in a bunch of music and they're just really just not raw dogging it, but that's horrible. That's a horrible term of phrase, but they're just, it's basic. It is a basic investigation, no frills, and they are just sitting there communicating. It does seem very real and very effective. So the main three things why it's effective is sensory deprivation, real-time interaction, and reduction of bias is what this other website, the ghostlyportal.com, says. Traditionally, spirit box sessions can lead to investigators interpreting random sounds. So the reason this is so effective is because they reduce the interpreter's senses. They isolate the listener from the other environmental cues, and that person is just listening to the sound and interpreting the noises that they are hearing. Sometimes they're really clear, other times it's like a cough or a growl or a whistle. But most of the time like this, like especially if the person is in a meditative state and they zone out completely, like they are just isolated and it's just them and the noise. Just imagine just noise and rocking back and forth. You can't see, can't hear anything else. And it's just you and you're rocking and you're listening. And then all of a sudden you hear a voice and another voice and they start to make sense. Can you imagine? That just sounds really cool to me. I think I need hobbies other than paranormal. I love these apps because it makes it really easy, especially for somebody like me that's new, but there's so much room for interpretation. One of the things that I don't like about investigations on YouTube, especially the dramatized ones, and my favorite people do this as well, is everything's demonic. Or it's like the owner will say nothing's bad here, like there's nothing demonic here, but yet it turns dark. Or they'll say something like, I died here. Or, the box will say something and it's like, oh, were you murdered here? Did something bad happen to you here? And it's like, not all hauntings are bad. Sometimes people are just still with the energy. It never dies. Sometimes energy just stays. It doesn't have to be bad. And I think that's probably my least favorite thing about the shows is like they always turn dark and negative. They always try to spin it a certain way. But I do really like the apps. Now, my favorite app, my favorite app is the Necrometer, of course, for a transcribing where you're not hearing any kind of static. The Necrometer is my favorite. My second favorite, though, and this is actually static, and I'm going to let you listen to it, but you have to listen to interpret what it says. It's called the Transcend Theory app, and there's a psychic medium, Amy Bolesky. She uses it, so it comes through like static, but it isolates the words. So you're not just hearing the white noise. When I was using this app not too long ago, and I believe I was speaking to my friend. So that transcribed as the N-way, but I didn't hear the N-way. I was speaking to my friend Catherine with this app, and to confirm it was her, I asked her how old she was, and it said 40. But that's not how it transcribed at all. It actually came for the day. But to hear it, it said 40. It does transcribe it, but you can actually turn that off and just listen. Sometimes I leave it on just for a help as to what it says, because it is hard to hear. Annie. Us here, she. I almost heard my name in that one. It almost sounded like Ashley, but it transcribed us here and she'd. But I heard Ashley. So that's another one of my favorites. Now, my least favorite is by the same company that makes Necrometer. It's called Necrophonic. I don't like that one. I'm going to let you listen to what it does. And I think it's just hard to hear. So this one's called Necrophonic. I bought this one by accident. Okay, we're going to turn that one off because I really don't like it. And then the last one that I use for Spirit Talker app is called Spirit Talker. It was the first one I bought. This one has a tendency to get real dark real fast. This one says demon or death or I'm watching you or I'm going to get you. My kids like this one. I know it sounds terrible. My kids like this one because this is the one they see on YouTube the most. But this one's not my favorite. I will use it. This one was actually quite active at my other house. It's not very active at this house, but is anybody here? Can anybody? Oh,
I'm attached.
See, this one, if you watch the ghost shows, this is something that it says a lot. I'm attached, and it seems to happen a lot. So this is one that I believe in less because it just seems like it's very software controlled and not environmentally controlled. And maybe that's just my opinion. Now watch it say something crazy. And what are you attached to? Can you tell me what you're attached to? Can you tell me your name or who you're attached to? If I want entertainment, this is the one I use for like...
Let's sit and talk.
Okay, well, we're sitting and talking, all right. But, I mean, we can sit and talk. Do you want to talk? I will say, before we move on any further, I have a couple more I want to tell you about. The most important thing to remember with these apps is put your phone in airplane mode and also put your phone, like turn the Wi-Fi off. And that way, the app is working off just what it's picking up and it's not having any interference from any other radio waves or anything going on in your phone, like text messages or locations or anything like that. If you truly put it on airplane mode or turn the Wi-Fi off so you're not on Wi-Fi, I think you get more clear and more accurate results. And I've heard other paranormal investigators say that as well. So that is my one recommendation. So that way your results and your evidence that you're getting is not influenced by anything else going on in your phone. I fell asleep once with this going and then I read it and I was like, oh, that's weird. It said one of my daughter's names and it said following her. Okay. That was me again. Okay, while this is sitting here, another thing that I like is the REM pod. Mine never goes off. There's nothing in my house, of course. It's just me and the animals. The only time it went off was when we recorded Bobby Mackey's. That was really freaky. Another app that I like that I have not gotten to use yet, but I'm really looking forward to using it. It was actually sent to me by the creator themselves. It is called the Ghost Paranormal Science Toolkit. This creator actually reached out to me on TikTok and asked if I would use it. And I was like, yes, I would love to use it. Unfortunately, I haven't had anywhere to use it yet, but I'm anxiously awaiting. My husband and I are going away for the weekend and might go to a haunted museum. So I cannot wait to use it there and see if we pick anything up. It has the ability to pick up EVPs, an EMF reader. It also has where you can try to pick up on it's called the SLS. And if you're a paranormal enthusiast, you'll know what that is. It actually picks up figures, like humanoid figures. If there's a person in the room, it makes it like a stick figure. So all of this is in the app. And it's like $9.99 and you get all these like features. Yes, I'm enjoying this app so much. It also has the ability to do EVP. Pretty sure I've mentioned that one. The app comes with a manual that explains how everything works. This is one of the coolest apps I've ever used for paranormal stuff. Y'all just check it out. It also has a spirit box application where it is actually like static that you can listen to. Another feature of this Ghost Paranormal Science Toolkit, I'm telling you, it's called the music box, which a music box is something that will pick up movement close by. Like if I were to put it down, a traditional music box, it looks like a little coffin of sorts. And if a ghost moves in front of it, it will start singing the most ominous, dark music, like terrifying music, actually. It also has a barometer. Until there's so much to do. I cannot wait to use this. Geoscope. I'm not sure what that is either. But this is all in one app. And a Luxscope. I don't know what it is. But there's a manual for each of these. So when I go and we go to the Haunted Museum this weekend, I can actually read as to what these are and use them. Like it's just so cool. I'm telling you. Y'all, if you're into, oh my God, there's more. Holy crap. There's 3 screens worth of, obviously I've only looked at that one screen. More EVP stuff. Twilight. What is that? What's a Twilight? Hey, y'all, this is so cool. I'm almost forgetting that I'm trying to record. I'm just like reading this. And if you have $10 to spend on an app and you ghost hunt, I would recommend this because there's just so much on here. The SLS. Oh, let's see what's in. Let's turn it on. Let's see what's in here. Let's see if there's anything in my house. All right, so I have the SLS on. I'm shining outside of my office into the foyer. There's nothing there. That's a chair. That's a painting, so no. Okay. All right. Nothing in my house, thank God. Oop, that was me. So anyway, that's just kind of like a walkthrough of my favorite apps and the difference between something that's not an app, like the Estes method. I highly recommend an actual spirit box and using the Estes method over anything else because there's less room for interpretation when you're hearing the words and you're saying the words and what you're hearing, and you're deprived of your senses. So you're just saying the words. You don't know what's being asked, so you're not interpreting anything except the word or the sounds. This is my episode. Y'all, just know, I love y'all. Just know, you being here and listening every week, you seriously give me a reason to get out of bed. I make the bed, I open the blinds, and I try to put on something different than what I slept in. And log on and research, because I know there's not a lot of you, but there's enough of you. All of you, my 13 original subscribers, and then 30, and now hundreds. Like, I see y'all, and you matter, and y'all are important to me, and you seriously have given me purpose this year when we needed it the most, when I needed it the most. So thank you. If you have any paranormal stories that you want to share with me, I would love to hear them. Send your ghost gossip to ghostgossip247@gmail.com. You can find me on TikTok, Ghost Gossip Pod. You can find me on Instagram, Ghost Gossip Podcast. As always, I love you guys. And until next time, they'll see you later. Bye. So Spirit Talker just said, we've got to stop meeting this way. Is my spirit hitting on me? It's so funny. We have to stop meeting this way. Interesting.
It's an evil force.
It's an evil force. The Estes method is an evil force?